I just am amazed how lucky we are to have this asset of Encore Learning in Arlington County. So I hope I can hold up the standards that the others have put forward for their classes. I teach here at George Mason University. I'm a distinguished visiting professor in the Schar School of Policy and Government. That's a fancy way of saying I'm an adjunct. But I teach elective courses on energy security and writing and briefing for policymakers. I'm co-director of the Energy and Science Center here at George Mason, and I'm also interim director of the Peace Operations Program, which keeps me busy, but engaged in a lot of things that I practiced when I was ambassador in Azerbaijan and Bosnia. And as I was thinking about this class, I got to thinking about my foreign service career, which took me to Togo, Ethiopia, and Israel. And each of these places were characterized by ethnic conflict. But I want to go back and sort of try to draw on my experience most recently in Azerbaijan and Bosnia, but also in a course that I taught in the Peace Operations Program on state and institution building. And I've come away from this with three questions that I hope you can help me answer. Why don't these conflicts go away? And I'm not just thinking about negotiations to end a conflict, but why don't they just go away? Secondly, are there forces of nationalism and populism today that risk bringing these conflicts back? Janice, I'd like to have a session with you so that you can explain to me why young people in the Caucasus and the Balkans are more nationalistic and more conflict-oriented than the people who actually fought these wars. And then my third question is, how do you create, in a post-conflict situation, resilient and reconciled societies? Anyway, 4 sessions. I'm going to try to make these sound different than the classes I've taught before, specifically on these conflicts. I want to look at the cultural and ethnic forces at play in these states and regions. I also want to bring in, and this is not my background, but I've just been thinking about it lately, the role of written fiction in perpetuating the conflicts. I want to look at 2 examples. Ivo Andrić, who some of you may have read, Bridge over the Drina, a Croat author who was born in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I want to talk about a novel that he wrote called Bosnian Chronicles, about his hometown in Travnik in Bosnia. And the second second novel, actually it's 3 novellas, written by an Azerbaijani author by the name of Alish Alishli. It's called Farewell Alice. And it was translated by our own Catherine Young, who was poet laureate at one point of Arlington. But Catherine has done an interesting translation of this book. And we can explore why this guy's books were burned after this translation appeared, and why he cannot travel from Azerbaijan. I want to talk a bit about history and what brought these states and societies into conflict in the 20th century. I want to talk about empires, the Ottoman, the Russian, and the Austro-Hungarian, which, by the way, were multi-ethnic in character. And then I want to talk about the influence, I think, of 2 of the most significant thought leaders in this whole process of conflict in this period, Woodrow Wilson and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I want to talk about state and institution building in post-conflict societies, and something that I didn't think I would say from my time in Bosnia, but I want us to read and answer the question of why the Dayton Peace agreements failed. And then finally, I want to talk a bit about the role of the United States in the 21st century in state building and conflict resolution. And I'm going to sneak a topic in on this one because I want to talk about climate change and what role that might have in accentuating ethnic conflict. So look forward to it. Thank you very much, and fun group.